Hey guys, it's Kayla. I'm new to YouTube and I really like to do makeup. So I'm gonna do a nice natural glam today. I'm gonna be using two palettes, the 35H palette, and then I'm gonna do the 35G palette. I'm really only using this palette for one shade, and that's that one. I don't really have like a nudish shade or something that's not shimmery in this palette, but it is a gorgeous palette with a whole bunch of shimmery colors, and I think this is gonna turn out great and it's gonna be a lot of fun. So let's just hop right into it. All right guys, so starting off with that nudish shade from the 35H palette, and I'm just gonna pack that all over my lid. It's just gonna help my eyeshadow blend out better, and it just kind of make it all seamless. But yeah, let's see. Okay, so after we packed on that nude shade, I'm gonna go in and highlight my brow bone. I'm gonna go in using this top corner shade right here. It's literally the first shade in the palette. It's so pretty. And I am just gonna go ahead and highlight So next I'm gonna go in with the shade right next to it, and I'm gonna blend that in to my crease. And I'm gonna do that using a Morphe M411 brush. It's kind of like a small blending brush. It's just so I can keep it more precise and always tap off the excess. And I am just gonna kind of work that in to my crease, building up the color. And kind of pack it a little bit on the outer corner, and bring it outwards. And it's okay if you get a little bit outside of your eyelid. We can clean that off later. This is kind of just my go-to look. I just really love warm, kind of bronzy, naturally looking eyes. I mean, I'm pretty pasty, so it doesn't look that natural, but during the summer, this is like one of my go-tos. And I just keep on blending. And you want to make sure when you're blending that you're not blending downwards onto your lid, that you're kind of little circles and going up. And so when you're holding your brush and you're not only applying colors but blending it out, you kind of want to make it so you're poking yourself in the eye. A lot of people go wrong by doing this, and really that's just going to sweep it back and forth, but this is really going to get in there and really push that product around, and blend it. Doing this is just going to just kind of blend this area, but it's not going to do the best work. But I learned that in school, so Okay, so it should start to look something like that. Right, so I'm going to switch on over to a different brush. I'm going to use the M412 brush. It's kind of just like a bigger version of that brush. It's a little bit more fluffier. That one was a little bit more dense. And I'm going to go in with this middle shade right here on the second row. It's so just matte, super warm tone. I just really like it. And I am going to go right into the crease and kind of just focus this on kind of the outer corner crease area, and kind of just pack it in on that inner corner, and you can kind of bring it outwards a little bit. And I'm just going to clean up the brush a little bit because I don't really want any kind of product on it for this part, but I'm going to go in and do the same exact thing as to how we blended this. Circular motions, and kind of, you can bring the shade a little bit more onto your lid, but you don't want it to cover your whole entire lid. But just little circular motions. You can kind of blend upwards and outwards. Alright, and then I just go right back into that same shade, the middle shade, and just pack a little bit more on. I want it to be a little bit darker, and blend it a little bit better. Okay, so now I'm going to go into another brush and I'm going to buff all this out. I'm going to use the Morphe M576 brush. It's just a nice big fluffy brush. And I'm just going to go in, same thing, little circular motions, and just blending it a little bit together, make it a little bit more seamless. You can never blend too much. Alright. Okay, so after I do that, I'm going to grab a makeup wipe and I'm just going to clean up the edge. Me personally, it just bothers me. A lot of people will clean it up with concealer. I just can't. So I'm just going to go right underneath my eye and kind of using my nail and just sweeping upwards. Just like that. Alright, so after we cleaned up our eye, I'm going to go in and I'm going to deepen it up a little bit more. I'm jumping back into that M411 brush, and I think I'm going to go with this shade right here. It's in the third row. And I really just want to deepen it up a little bit more, especially out on the outer corner. So I'm just gonna kind of pack a little bit more, kind of going a little bit onto my lid, and I am just gonna keep on packing. Okay, so then I'm gonna go back in with that M576 brush that we just used to blend it all out, and I'm just gonna do the same exact thing. Just blend it. And I'm gonna dip back into that first shade with this brush and just kind of go over it so that it's a little bit more seamless. And I'm very light-handed when it comes to blending out the darker shade because I kind of don't want to move it too far up. I want to keep it in this area. But that's why I go in with the lighter shade that I used and just blending it kind of all together to make it seamless. And you can bring that lower shade down to meet the darker shade. And when you come to like the outside, you just want to kind of flick it outwards. Just to blend out that harsh line that we had right there, which we'll probably fix again later. Okay, so now that I have an overall kind of bronzy eye. Okay guys, so after we went and blended that out, I'm gonna go in with the darkest brown in the palette, which is this one right above the black. And I'm gonna take that M411 brush again, the really tiny one, and just lightly get some color on it, and very so lightly darken up that outer corner. And I'm gonna go back in with that M576 brush and just buff that out a little bit. Okay, so after I've done that, I am actually gonna go in with this shade right here. And I'm gonna take my finger, I just find it a lot more pigmented, and I'm just gonna pack it on my lid. So after I pack that on my lid, I'm gonna go back in with that M411 brush and the second darkest shade that we used, this one, and I'm going to blend the brown and the gold together very lightly. So after you blend those two shades together, you should have something that looks like this. And now I'm just gonna go ahead and do my foundation and set it off camera, and then I'll be back to do the contour, blush, and highlight. Alright guys, now that I'm super pale and pasty, I'm gonna go in and contour. I'm just gonna use the Morphe contouring palette. I believe it is the 06PW, and it just looks like that. And obviously I use like this row. This is a little too dark for me. So I'm gonna go in with my R10 brush from Morphe. It's really nice to just chisel out the cheeks. So I dip into the last shade in the palette to contour, this one right here, and I like to just stipple that on, just so I can hollow out my cheekbones. And then I just start doing little circular motions, just trying to keep it in the hollows of my cheeks. Okay, so next I am going to take my Morphe R14 brush. It's just round, and I'm going to dip into this shade right here and a dab with that shade. And just dust it off. And I'm gonna use this to contour my forehead. And I like to do it very lightly. You don't want it to be like a helmet that you're wearing. And just blend, do little circular motions, little back and forths. Dip more if you need it. And you want to make sure you're getting it all up into that hairline. That way it looks seamless and like you are bronzed. Alright, so now that we have our contoured forehead, I'm going to take the first shade in the palette and I'm going to bronze up my cheeks. Now, bronzer, you can go a little bit outside of where you did the contour. It's just going to help blend it a little bit better, make it look a little bit nicer. And then don't forget to bring it under your chin. I contour my chin a lot. I like to have a chiseled looking kind of jaw, I guess. And I'm just gonna go back over, make sure everything's a little blended. Okay, I'm gonna put that brush down and I'm gonna take another brush. It's the brush that I powdered my face with. It is the M401 brush. It looks like that. It's super used. I need to clean it. But I'm just gonna go ahead and just go over it just a little bit to buff it out. And then next we are going to do our nose. All right, so after we have blended it all out, we're gonna grab our nose contouring brushes and I am just going to help bring the warmth back into my face because right now this area is looking very pasty and pale. So for this, I use the Morphe MB16 brush and it looks like that. And I use it to pack down my contour. And then I use this AOA Studios brush. I really like this brush. It's a cute little contouring brush. It's very dense. And I use that to just go through and blend it out. So what I do for contouring my nose is I take this one and the middle one, and I just pack my brush up with it. And then you want to tap it off. Maybe make sure it's not too dark on your hand. And then I go upwards and I just contour my nose. And I like to go up underneath my nose, and then I will take the middle shade and I will use that to kind of lay down this little line. Not everybody needs to put the line there, but I like the look of it. I think it's cute. And I'll take some and I'll run it underneath my bottom lip just to make it look a little bit more poutier. Yeah. And then I'm gonna take the AOA brush and I'm gonna go through, and when I'm blending out my nose, I like to tap instead of go up and down. I just think it blends out a little bit nicer if you add some pressure to it rather than just moving the product around. And then when you're done packing it out, you can go through up and down just to blend it a little bit more. All right, so after I do that, I'm gonna go through and highlight, and I'm gonna use the Becca highlighter in Opal. It's one of my favorites. It's well loved. And I'm gonna go in with another brush from the AOA Studios. It looks like this. This one is the F19. I don't know if I told you the name of the other one. It is the E109. But this to me is the perfect highlighting brush. So I'm just gonna pick this up and place it down on my cheekbones, and it's a super gold shimmery shade. I might even add a dab of this to my eye, but I really like it. It's so pretty. Okay, so after I've done that, I'm gonna go in with the e.l.f. blush palette. I'm not so sure which one this is. It's in light. So I'm gonna go in with the e.l.f. blush palette, and I'm going to take this shade and this shade, and I'm going to take a brush that I just got for Christmas, and it's not a name brand brush. And I'm gonna take that and I'm just gonna sweep it over my cheeks. Sometimes if you're a little too heavy, you can always blend it out. I like to go on my chin, my nose, add some to my forehead, and then I'll go back in with that face powder brush and just blend it. Alright, so after I'm done with applying my highlight, contour, and blush, I'm gonna go back in to my eyes and blend out the outer corners. I'm gonna use the R40 Morphe brush. It's a nice little fluffy brush, and
just go over any harsh lines like this one right here. Blend it so that you don't have that sharp edge. All right, and now we're gonna move on to the bottom lash line. So for the bottom lash line, I really want to put a bright yellow right on the inner corner, and then just take the darker browns that we used before and smoke out the lower lash line. So I'm going to take that M411 brush, and I'm going to dip into this color and this brown. Just mix them together, tap it off, and I'm going to run that underneath my outer corner, kind of dragging it to meet the upper lash line. Okay, so after I'm done with that, I'm going to take a very tiny precise brush, and it is the M515 brush, and it's super tiny. I'm going to dip into this yellowy shade right here, and I'm gonna apply that on the inner corner. Now you can either like spray your brush before you do this so it's a lot more pigmented, but these eyeshadows are actually super pigmented. And I'm just doing this to add like a pop of color. I like yellow, yellow likes me, so that's what we're going to do. And I just like to blend it on out. And then next, I said that I was gonna go on top of this color on my lid with the highlighter, and I think I'm going to do that, and just dab it. I'm also going to use this highlighter as my inner corner shade. So I'm going to take that little tiny brush again, and I wiped off the yellow, and I'm just going to pack this on the inner corner just to kind of brighten it up. Awesome. Okay, well after this, I'm just going to apply my mascara and do my lips, and then I will be right back. All right guys, so this is the finished look. I just paired it with the NARS, I think it's called Total, I don't know. It's just a nice pretty peachy pinky color, but yeah, so this is what it came out to. I'm very proud of it. Again, I'm just gonna be posting videos. I'm new, so be kind, and if you could just like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.